Now, ladies and gentlemen, you know, talking is cheap. But we can't all condemn the white man. There's something we got to do. The white man is doomed, but we got to help him on his way. And I don't mean in the jest of hate. I mean according to the plan of divine providence. He that has been up a long time must come down. He that's been down a long time must rise.
If you are an American Negro and an American Negro only, subscribe to Rasslin with Racism on YouTube, TikTok, Facebook, Instagram, Fanbase, Spotify, Rumble, and at Crackers That Out on Twitter X. You can find more white truths.
She's sure not pretty, and her skirt is short. Lord knows her legs are steady. And to walk to school, she's got to get up early. With clothes on, but they are never ever dirty. They're living just enough for the city. My brother is smart. He's got more sense than many. His patience is long, but soon he won't have any. 'Cause to find a job is like a haystack needle. 'Cause where he lives, they don't use colored people. They're living just enough for the city.
And now, our feature presentation.
But we can't all condemn the white man. There's something we got to do. The white man is doomed, but we got to help him on his way.
Welcome to Rasslin with Racism, where we wrestle with racism every single day of our lives. If you are an American Negro and you are not subscribed to Rasslin with Racism, check out the other content. And if it hits you to the core, subscribe and share with every single American Negro that you know, whether they are wrestling fans or not. You may also find Rasslin with Racism on YouTube, TikTok, Facebook, Instagram, Fanbase, Spotify, Rumble, and at Crackers That Out on Twitter X, where you can find more white truths. This is part 2 of a 4-part series of our season 2 finale of Rasslin with Racism, asking the question, what makes a coon a coon? Is cooning a form of mental illness? And of course, can a coon be restored? And this is going to come into correlation with our main discussion of mental health, mental illness, mental wellness, and mental wealth, featuring our case study of the season, PeckerTom Ron. Please enjoy this edition. And if you have not tuned into the latest edition, which is part 1, it is available on YouTube right now. And it is advised for every single American Negro to tune into that edition before tuning into this edition. The third installment of this edition will premiere on Sunday evening. In the meantime, enjoy this program. Please do not forget to like, share, and if you are an American Negro, to subscribe. Ronald is up on stage real quick. Let him call me racist for 3 minutes real quick, and then we're going to get to the certain questions. Unmute, sir. Now, Negro.
Wait. Do you think that the white spaces are more colder? That's the reason why you might speak there, but you don't want to speak with us.
I'm pretty sure the second he opened his mouth, he the type of motherfucker that even if he was to go into white spaces and say some anti-black shit, they gonna still kick his dumb ass out. It's like some Myron shit. Like he could say everything you want to against. Ronald don't have no audience. Ronald don't have no real back. So he try to go off on everybody else. Hey, no crackers at all. They be like, oh yeah, you're right. The niggas racist and go off about their business and shit. You know what I'm saying? He's stuck on this for some reason. But I talked about Ronald earlier, hating wrestling with racism so bad that his true feelings against American Negroes came out. So, Ronald, do you want to tell us exactly why you believe that Jordan Neely death is justified?
I
You,
hope you're not. I hope you're not a coward, my guy. One thing I hate is when people go in the comments section and voices long diatribes when they could just talk to us man to man and
Fun with
person to
this. I'm
person.
having fun.
So you think that laughing at black people's demise is fun?
I'm laughing at black people's hypocrisy, especially their performative action with this whole they care about black people bullshit.
So what hypocrisy are you talking about here? Explain to this and explain
For
black
example, that
privilege
Black
because
Lives Matter assumes and everyone assumes that it was a racial issue that nearly got killed because it was a race issue, which every idiot continues to assume it's always race this, race that, blah 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 blah. It's the same old
Wait
narrative. It's the
wait
same old
Mr.
thing. It's
Ron,
tired. It's boring. It's
wait 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 wait
dull.
wait 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 wait
It
wait
is
wait 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 wait
so
wait Ron
fucking
Ronnie,
boring. It is
let him
wait
dull.
finish,
can we wait
Negro.
It
can we
is
Let
slow
him
it
finish.
down?
Negro, no, no,
boring.
no. Negro, let him finish. Let him finish.
Boring. Boring. It is boring. All of y'all motherfuckers in here are so boring, especially you, yo. It is boring. It is pathetic.
Okay, Ronnie. Okay, first thing we
Boring.
got to break. Okay, Ronnie, we
Boring.
got to your point. Wait, young man, we got to the point that we
You
understand that
let
you
him,
feel.
Negro. Let him finish. Literally, let him finish. Let him finish.
Boring.
How was your day, Ron?
Oh, it's good. It's good, especially when you guys are idiots.
Why are we idiots, Ronald?
You tell me. Oh, nobody's got nothing to say now. That's the first.
Well, we wanted to make sure you get everything out of the system because
No,
we
not
have
really. No, no.
questions. Like,
I'm still too having much fun with this. Speak
He he
up.
he he he
Speak,
called he
speak
called
up,
me
Leo.
Rio
Come on. Why are
because
you abusive?
when I go on a
Why are you
radio
abusive,
show,
Leo? Leo, speak up.
when I go
Speak up.
when I go on a
Speak up,
radio,
Leo.
okay, we're gonna let you
Leo,
get that
speak
out your
up.
system right
Speak
quick.
up. Why are
Racially
you
attack.
abusive? I didn't hear an answer, Leo. Mm-mm-mm.
Ron, why were you
Oh,
holding that baby
Leo.
like that?
So see there,
Ask him what the
there it
fuck is
goes
that
again.
on his
So
chin.
there we go. Now you finally want to get into that.
Oh,
Typical black people.
very unnatural way to
It's a,
hold a child.
it's
Very,
not
very
it's
awkward.
natural for black people to
so the white man never lied.
well, everyone lie. I just hate black people.
No. So you're just specifically biased to black people that
I'm biased to
don't like
hypocritical
liars.
black people.
So technically, are you the real question is, are you the racist?
Oh, and
Are you the
how am I
racist?
the racist? I wonder. When you got the biggest,
Why do you
when you
hate
have the
black? Why do
biggest,
you hate black
and you
people?
literally have the
Ronald.
biggest racist in this room making everything about race, claiming that every single person is racist against black people.
No,
No, no,
you
no, no, no,
made it
no, no,
about
because that's
race when you
exactly what you
mentioned
think.
specifically black people are
That is
liars.
exactly what you
So
think.
I asked a
That is
fair
exactly
question.
what
I
you
Ronald,
asked a
think.
fair question.
That
Are you a
is
racist?
exactly
Ronald,
what
you
you
never,
think. It is
Ronald,
typical. It is very typical of you. Are
Ronald,
we not? Is it not? Do
Ronald.
black people not always lie
You
about race
never
when it's not a race
explain,
issue?
never explain how black people are racist. Not one time you have accused black people of being racist, and you have never, not one time, explained how black people are racist. So, with that being said, can you, and we're going to give you the adequate time. No one's going to say anything, so we're going to let you get your babble and blah, 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 whatever the fuck you do out the way. But in the between that, I want you to explain how black people can be racist. No one say anything, just let Ronald speak. You got the mic, Ronald. Unmute.
Are you or are you not always typically racist?
So
So you're
elaborate.
not technically, typically racist. So you admit it then.
Yeah, elaborate on what you mean
No,
by
no,
that.
no, no, no. I want you to admit it. I want you right here now to admit.
Well, I don't
I
know what
want
the
you to
accusation
admit
is.
your racism, your bigotry, your hypocrisy, everything. Admit it.
Well, what have I done that's racist? And if you could tell
Oh,
me what
come
I've done,
on,
and I can
bro.
admit it or deny
Come
it.
on, bro. There you go again with the lying and deflection. You're deflecting just like the
Well,
whites. Mm.
all right. So give specifics, because
This
they don't know what you're talking
I
about,
don't
and I
waste
don't
my
either.
time with this shit, bro. Because you're gonna continue to do this.
You wasting a lot of
You're
time now.
wasting my time. This is fucking pathetic.
You're saying that
Black
I am
people are
racist,
racist.
right?
Wait. I think that you're racist. Okay,
Wait.
when I look at some
If you're
definitions here,
racist
So you
against
they
so
black
you
say,
can
people,
admit that black people. No, 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 no,
Can
no,
you
no,
hear
no,
me?
no, 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 no,
Wait,
no.
Can you hear me out? Can you hear me out? Racism is a form of
Hold up,
prejudice
hold up,
that generally
hold up.
includes negative emotion reactions of members
hold
No, no,
on, hold
of.
on,
no,
hold on,
no,
hold on,
no,
hold on, hold on, hold on, hold
no,
on,
no,
hold
no,
on, hold
no.
on, hold on. Wait a minute. I want hold on.
So explain how I'm the racist again.
You never
Okay,
explain how black
No, no,
people
no,
are
no,
racist.
no.
All
This
right,
not what.
test test.
This
Can
is
y'all
what you
hear
want
me?
to
I
hear.
want to explain.
All right, my
Explain
bad. All
how
right, my bad, Negro. Hold on. Go ahead. Go
explain
ahead. Go
how
ahead. Bigger
I
one.
am a racist. Please do. I want to hear this. I can't wait to hear this.
Because you choke black children.
There.
Okay, Bigger one. What's going on? How you doing,
What's
brother?
going on, HBK? What's
Uh,
going on? What's up,
all
Negro?
right.
How you doing? Uh
Oh, I'm doing great, sir.
Hashtag Daniel Penny's a hero.
oh, okay. That's interesting.
Wow. Oh, come on. He ran out. I really wanted to address
Uh,
the reasons why he was a racist.
damn it,
Or
Chad, man, I
can I
need
at
you
least
Wait,
read
to.
it
hold
for the
on.
room?
I just went through like
Chad,
57
man, you
double
took too damn
mutes.
long. He needed to hear somebody that he needed to hear somebody. I needed you to come off
Why
smooth
did he
and
run?
butter the motherfucker up. You took too damn long,
Nah, I
man.
was I
God
was
damn it.
like double muted 100 times and my mic wasn't synced in. That's my fault. I take the L for that.
All
All
right.
right, so what did I walk in on? Sound like somebody was crashing out.
The time,
Oh
man. Shit,
shit, this guy?
I mean, the thing is, man, like, I ain't got to keep explaining all this shit. I wanted to give him the grace of at least explaining how black people are racist. I let him get all the shit out. He wouldn't do it. I explain how you feel like Jordan Neely death was justified. You couldn't get that shit out. You could never get nothing out of this cat.
Now
Um,
who's that
no
speaking?
life
That was the
sentence.
dude with the sunglasses on, right?
Yeah, big hit. That's my man's Gazoo. Uh, the Jetsons and shit. The Jeffersons and shit. The nigga
The
dum dum.
Flintstones, gotcha.
The
There you
Flintstones.
go.
Yeah.
And he do like I didn't get a good glimpse, but I did see the shades. It looked like he was trying to be cool. But yeah, it sounded like he was crashing out, man. Like what's going
I
on
mean,
with him?
that's what he do. And like I said, it is a complete waste of time. But this Daniel Penny shit is interesting because generally when I have these conversations with Ronald, when it come down to injustices against black people, he's not going to deny that he's for their death. He would deflect around it.
Mm.
But he's going to say shit like, "Hey, this certain situation, Derek Chauvin didn't kill him because of race. This, that, and the other." You know what I'm saying? Same thing with Daniel Penny. So I want to give you the opportunity to elaborate. He the one that put me on that African. Did y'all see that shit?
Nah.
That fat ass African. I was gonna make that a topic too. What's this motherfucking name? Let me put this shit in the jumbotron. Because this guy is a character. So, like I said, it is kind of my fault that it got as far as it did because at first I was kind of using him for material. He does help exploit white troops. It's hell getting to this motherfucker to get to a point. But when he does get to a point, he helps exploit coons and he helps exploit their mindset. Which helped me once again discover how he in particular became a coon. But Negro, until we do get that stuff together, let's discover the other ways of coons becoming a coon. Now, explain your position on the economic standpoint. And by the way, if anybody else want to join, y'all more than welcome to do so. Included, they shouldn't be. You don't believe that these coons should be included at all. There's no redemption for them, right?
No. I brother, like you don't want to hear what I really want to do.
I do. That's the point of this.
Like, eugenics plays a heavy factor in society. The thing is, I feel like Negro Black American people, as a people, we have not been able to get rid of the people who have harmed us since day one, since we left off the plantation. We have not been able to punish our coons. We have not been able to afflict our will against anybody in society. That's the reason why the coons are able to get elevated, they get protected, and stuff of that nature. Like I guarantee you, the police force is on standby for this guy, for any black person that actually really put paws on him, if you get what I mean. So, like,
yeah, you might need to change up your language right quick because that is funny.
And that's the reason why I say it's very important that we do have our own government. That so we can inflict the standard that we really want. And if you get it online, we're gonna have to take out the trash.
How much of a factor do you believe that the fact that they know that we don't have any type of protection for ourselves, that they feel like they need to fall in line with the white supremacists? If it's possible, if we were to, gain reparations as far as money, land, and tools to produce for ourselves and govern ourselves, that will make them less coonish and be able to come on home.
No. I think that
these coons could be coons out of fear?
I think that they'll still be cooning because they do not want to take on accountability and responsibility as well. Right? Mm-hmm. That's one of the factors that I haven't discussed with you, but those are the things why there's not an accountability measure. You can't tell me nothing, and I'm not even accountable to the black person that's next to me, right? Because you got to keep in mind, when the Black Panthers were instituting that in their own neighborhoods, it was people that looked like us or whatever, that were sometimes even Black American people, who sabotaged them because they did not want to be underneath and subjugated by black rule. They really thought that white ice is colder. Like you kind of see where I'm kind of getting at with this. That this is a mentality that needs to either be exterminated or breed it out. Mm-hmm. That's kind of the extremities that I'm kind of coming from. Haitian people did that. The Haitian people did that. That's how they got the 1804 popping and the other things. And they were able to set up a government afterwards because everybody was kind of on the same page. Like, we were never able to get everybody on the same page since we left off the plantation.
Why do you believe that's the case?
Why do you? Because that dysfunctionality will destabilize our community, so we can never be stable and be a productive people. That's the main goal of the reason why it's
that's the thing that needs to be restored. We need that base at the same time. We need that base at the same time.
But I think that some of those people are too far gone. Like, look at the mental capacity of PeckerTom Ron. Look at the mental capacity of Brother Followers. Do you really think that they could be really rehabilitated?
I want to add that Andre Williams cat in there too.
I'm not familiar with him.
Well, this guy is so anti-black. all every thing that he do. He a content creator or whatever. And apparently he here from Detroit. Everything
Is
that
that the guy with the rack? Wait. Slow that down. Is that the guy with the raccoon thing? And he calls himself a coon with the bearskin cap going on.
no, this is a guy with the fucked up haircut, the fucked up facial hair, and that's the
Oh, okay,
motherfucker
okay,
that got
yeah,
that's
yeah,
the
yeah.
motherfucker that
No,
got
no,
rolled out at
they got rolled out. They
yeah.
got rolled out. I didn't know. Wait. Slow that down. I didn't know he was from Detroit.
I didn't know he was from Detroit either. more than
Stop
likely he from
playing.
more than likely he from Nova or some shit like that. But you know, whatever.
Man, he might be from 7 Mile or something. He right
Nah,
next
so
to Slim
he's
Shady or
nowhere near
something.
7 Mile. More than likely, he nowhere near 7 Mile. He say he claimed he came up in Highland Park, which is the hood. But I don't know. I'm gonna have to double check on that. But like I said, the majority of everything, normally you get these conservatives and shit, these black conservatives and these anti-black people that tend to talk on other issues such as Jews and other white issues that white folk have. But this person is just strictly anti-Negro to the point to where other conservatives is calling him out on that. Like the nigga, okay, we get it, but why you don't talk about nothing else? You know these Jews is a problem. Um, so I'm just talking about cooned out people like that, and I put those three in the category because if he did come up in Detroit, more than likely he was getting his ass whooped too and getting picked on too. But got a smaller frame. We can't act like Negroes don't pick with each other. You know what I'm saying? And then some
But
people
but
just
but the
can't
thing
take
is,
that shit.
but the thing is, I got picked on because I was a little short brother, little nerdy little brother with glasses. Like, but I ain't going around and say I hate all black folks. I just
Well,
know it was specifically those type of.
there are people that take it to that extreme, and at the same time, we talking about to the extreme of where they were getting their ass whooped. Were you getting physically bullied?
I got physical like I got people that try to jump me into gangs or different things shit kids happen, man. Like that
It
taught me
does.
how to fight. Wait, that taught me how to fight. It taught me how to move in a certain manner. It gave me situational awareness. Different things I needed in case when I started really fighting with white supremacy or white people who had a real issue with me. Like I had most of my fights, were honestly throughout my lifetime was with white folks, Latino folks. I barely fought with black folks on average. That ain't my that I wouldn't even let it escalate to that point.
So what
You
I'm
get what I'm
saying is,
saying?
so what the question was though, when I was talking about picked on and bullying and shit, I'm talking about by Negroes.
Yeah, I'm fully aware of that. Yeah,
Okay,
I'm saying that we all. I'm saying that we all crack on each other.
right.
Like sometimes I might get the one up on somebody. Sometimes they get the one up on me. But I'm not gonna come home and try to terrorize my own people because I was already had the conscious. See, this is
So what
why
I'm saying is
having
because
the
at the
right.
same time, I'm looking at it from the household to school and to possibly the workforce
Yeah.
and everywhere else. At the same time, when you came home, your family weren't necessarily anti you, right?
Not
Uh,
really. They they actually
you
made us
know,
learn about who we were or
I'm
who we
talking
are.
about I'm talking about people that face it everywhere that they go. You read followers
Like,
book.
like, like
He was abused as a child, right?
yeah, I listened to some of it, bro, but I didn't really get
I
in.
understand. I'm just saying
I ain't,
it was
yeah, I
noted
ain't
that he
had
was
enough time
abused.
to really.
It was
Yeah,
noted
I'm
that he.
aware that there was.
So
I'm
what I'm
aware that there's some type of abuse and
the
something
point of
going
me
on
the
in
point of
that
me
regard.
saying the point of me saying all of this stuff is, generally these people from a younger age, whether certain people can't take certain things that other people could take, so I could give, with my cousins and brothers and uncles and stuff, I gave as I took it, you know what I'm saying, and the couple of other people did, but everybody wasn't built like that. But at the same time, you do get people that face it every single place that they go. A lot of people don't even have the mental capabilities. Then a lot of shit just flat out overboard. You know what I'm saying? And I believe that
The
people.
reason I don't think that that was the case with him, bro. I think that he was. Sometimes some people are a defective product, right? Because of the
Well,
system that we're in.
even if it's not the case with him specifically, we have to note that there's people out there like that. How do we reform those type of people, especially into adulthood? to where
Brother, I don't
we understand it.
think we can reform them. I'm on the opposite side. I don't want us to reform these individuals.
All
I
right,
think
so
we need
let's
to
talk
put them.
about the
Wait.
mental
So
health.
how
Let's
you?
talk.
Wait. I say, how do we can deal with them? One of them, we need to have our own mental health facilities. We got to keep in mind that a lot of the mental, like I lived out in like
Well,
the
that's kind of
Connecticut
where I
area.
was going. That's kind of
You
where I
know,
was
I was
going
gonna.
next. Let me kind of set that part
So
up real
that's
quick.
kind of
Yeah.
where I'm going at. Or they need to be in a town with a bunch of coons by themselves. They can't live amongst the real people, if you get what I mean.
Well, do first of all, do coons get along with each other? Genuinely?
Hey, man, that's for them to figure it out. That's for them to figure it out. There's a
All right.
delineation.
Well, that's kind of where I was gonna move on to as far as when we come down to reforming. Let's talk about mental health. Let's talk about, like you said, talking to somebody. I don't never believe that medication is the way. Is there anybody up here that believes that medication is necessary in any standpoint? You know what I'm saying? A lot of black people tend to go with trauma, deal with trauma, or do not deal with trauma via a third party or medical profession. You know, in a lot of areas, it's hard to talk to a parent, a sibling, a friend, a spouse, a child, and or anybody. And a lot of times, it is hard to do that, especially when it comes down to dealing with personal business and stuff. A lot of people don't feel comfortable. But at the same time, a lot of people feel less comfortable with a doctor. Negro, how much of a factor do you believe that it is important to vent and talk to a third party outside of your
I think
circle?
I think that vetting going to a third party is very important. I don't see nothing wrong with that. When my father died, right, or whatever, I went and saw a black professional. I think he was biracial, but he was still black to a certain extent. Where he knew about Black history, he knew about certain things in regards to mental health and stuff like that. Is that some of these things have been weaponized against our black people. Like for real, where they can't even own weapons to defend themselves. I'm going through certain things of that nature. I've never committed a crime, but I'm viewed as a criminal. I'm treated as a criminal, and that is something that stems from racism, right? Black people who are seeking the necessary mental help and getting punished for that. So that allows a culture of people who are dysfunctional who don't want to get the necessary help due to the fact that there could be a backlash from that. You kind of see what I'm saying? There's like a twofold situation going on with that.
Well, how much of a factor do you believe at the same time? Well, let's start from the beginning, though. Do you believe that children should be able to talk to a third person?
I think that if you talk with their parents first, and then the parents can the parents should they're engaging with the police and stuff. They can't just engage with the child without the parents' permission. Kind of the same thing. I don't.
No, I
think
mean
that they should
I get that, but I'm just saying overall. Do you think that could help? Because well, you know, some parents don't connect with their children. Don't know how to connect with their children. I should say.
then
You
the
know,
parents
especially when
as
you have
parents.
multiple children have multiple personalities, and you just can't adapt to every single personality.
Well,
Uh,
the parents should get the necessary training. This is why they have the parent. It's the parent that is the leader in the conversation, not the child.
right,
Right?
right.
It's the parent that should initiate these things, not the child.
I do
Right?
believe that it should be initial, you know, and see if you can get comfortable with that doctor. A few sessions with them, but do you believe that it would be okay for them to speak to them on their own after a little while if the parent
No, I
and the
think that
child is
they have to be
comfortable?
like almost like the age of 16 or 16, 17, and 18. Anything outside of that, no. Due to the fact that the system that we're in, and they have prisoned the pipeline black children, how they over medicated our children and abused those privileges. No, I think it will be in the best interest for parents to be actively participating or be able to watch their child do a double, a double mirror type of situation going on. But them we don't even know that these people could be child diddlers. Like I don't want to go so far off the rails with this, but these are things that have happened and that we should be concerned about as black folks. You kind of see where I'm getting at,
Well,
and the reason
generally,
why I'm
those things
adamantly
do
saying no.
help affect people's decisions as to why they don't go seek doctors.
Yeah, like you got some of these people that are really are not for our people. They over medicate our people, abuse our people. So how are they really in it for our community, right? That's where I'm
So,
kind
do
of
you
coming
believe
from.
that more American Negroes should go into that field specifically?
Yes, but they need to build up private practices.
Well, yes, but
That's non-negotiable.
no,
They got to build up
that's
in.
non-negotiable for because at the same time I didn't get a chance to say this part yet, but we should try to find as many American Negro therapists as possible, and if we could get to know these psychiatrists and stuff, maybe certain medicines is needed. Maybe these doctors would be more prone to dosing them correctly and with the correct medicines. So that at the same time, that I do want to move into American Negroes moving into the mental health field more prevalently. How much of a factor do you believe that need to be? And should we have programs to, set up to make it easier access for us to go into those fields and, provide private practices for ourselves?
I think we should go into the mental health profession or have some training in there, and make sure that the person who's getting these training are understanding that they're in the empowerment of us, meaning that once they get these degrees, these advanced degrees, their service is to the community in the advancement and development of the community. It's not for them to per se get super ultra rich in the guise of that, where that they're going to ignore the needs of our communities. And a prime case and example would be like a Ben Carson. A Ben Carson chose a profession like that in the guise of that there was no black people, and he wouldn't have to provide services for black people. You kind of see where I'm kind of going at with this logic that I'm trying to push down here,
Yeah.
and that's some of the things, and they're doing that because of money, college debt, etc. I'm going through that personally as a Negro man who has advanced degrees, and I know that I have to pay that, and they use that to hold our intellectuals hostage. So they're not willing to be more advantageous for our people because they're too busy trying to pay off a debt. So that's the other flip side and some of the dangers with that, if you get what I mean. So I just want to kind of throw that out there as well.
Well, something do got to be figured out, but at the same time, I do believe that a lot of people tend to go into adulthood with a lot of mental things that they made, and like I said, you don't really know. You just living it day by day and shit still, and trying to progress. But the younger people don't really generally know that they can take care of their mental health and they can take care of their mental well being. When you figure the fact that you got a lot of teenagers and even people under the adolescent years that attempt suicide or even go to the extent of committing suicide, what's up with that shit?
That's because the teachers in the school, man. Like
I can't
I'm telling
necessarily
you,
blame it on that. Like I said, the main thing is we still, because nobody could truly know, because possibly children are not getting into, uh, really getting checked out and really, it's no, a lot of children don't have outlets because a lot of parents don't even allow them to go really see what's going on. A lot of parents may not even necessarily have the time. Like I said, especially when you may have multiple children and multiple responsibilities day to day to
they, they,
day.
they do. Wait, bro. I think that that's excuse, right? And even with state insurance, if you're injured or want to mental health things, there are ways that they could travel and all that stuff, or they can meet with these people on Zoom, right? Like
Yes.
some of the mental health things they could do is on a Zoom type of thing or something of that sort. So like they might not need to be physically there. They might want to do like a once a month check in.
Well, this is these are newer developments in the last few years. But at the
But you
same
kind of see where
but
I'm
at the
kind
same
of
time,
going at
people
with
do
this.
need to know that that is available and it is accessible. But at the same time, how can we once again? How can we trust it? I want this conversation to really get deep. How can we really trust doctors And at the same time, how can we start implementing this more into the community, into communities across America?
We don't we want okay. So my suggestion is one, we need to get
I
our
don't see
own.
no. I see commercials for vaccines. I see commercials for drugs. I see commercials for mental health drugs. But I don't see commercials encouraging people to go talk to somebody. I don't see commercials telling you to go check up on your mental health and your mental well being.
They do have some out there. They do have
It's
some,
not
but they're
prevalent.
more
It's
in
not
they're
prevalent like these HIV commercials out here.
well, I would say that they're more like so, okay. So for example, they have like the suicide hotline phone, right?
Yeah.
And I think that some of these things might be more prevalent in other communities, if you get what I mean, like the white tea
Oh
community.
yeah. Most
I don't
definitely.
see them like because I've seen a suicide hotline per se, and they'll have that in their community per se.
I always see the suicide hotlines, but I don't see no hotlines letting you know like, hey, if you got something on your mind right now, call this number. It ain't got nothing to have. Sometimes just to talk,
It's an
or
extension of 211.
letting people know the importance of checking your mental health at the door. You know what I'm saying? Suicide is the last resort for a lot of people. But I don't see anything pushing people to check their shit at the door. If anything, they promoting these medicines that can help you feel better throughout your moods or whatnot. Then they do actually telling you, hey, you need to go seek. There's nothing wrong with seeking a therapist. There's nothing wrong with seeking talking to other people about this issue, this issue or that. They simply go straight to the extreme of things.
Well, you got to keep in mind that the pharmaceutical industry is meant to get people hooked. It's not really meant
Right,
to actually solve the issues.
right.
Right. This is the reason why they canceled the Dr. Sabi, because Dr. Sabi was trying to come up with cures or had natural cures for our community, allegedly. I haven't, I'm not really entrenched in his work like that, but these are some of the things that are promoted socially about his work, right? And imagine if they have alternatives that were more safer for our people that were naturally based. That's going to put a lot of these drug industries out of business. You kind of see where I'm kind of going at with that when it comes to the mental health. And we
Yeah.
already know that we're more naturally based people, anyways. We don't like superficial stuff and things that are manufactured. Like we're naturally instinctively, but we don't have those resources available for us like that. You kind of see where I'm going at with that.
I know exactly where you at with it. So like I said, it goes back to the factor of um, us being able to produce for ourselves as a people. But how far will America let you go with that? In a lot of American Negro neighborhoods, there's not many medical centers owned and operated by American Negroes. And I don't believe that that's not by no coincidence. But why will America not allow us to take care of ourselves as a people? We need to kind of restore those factors to when we are able to protect ourselves as one another. They won't allow us to do that. Why don't we start pushing for that, Negro?
Well, you got to keep in mind that. Sorry, I'm taking a bite to eat. You got to keep in mind that historically, the Black Panthers did have their own medical centers, as well as the breakfast program.
Right, that
Back in
faded
the
out in
day,
the '80s,
yes,
'90s.
yes. What was some of the things
Lingering
that had
ones in the
happened?
early 2000s.
Yes, and what was some of the problems were that the police will come through, do a break-in and entering, sometimes with no warrants, break the equipment, destroy the facility, so it's not beneficial. Like these are some of the things that have historically has happened.
Now, these are the things that do you believe that if we were to just take it into our own hands and get it done, that they won't hesitate to go back to these tactics, right?
Without a doubt.
Which forms the mindset of a coon who possibly realized that we're always going to face this at every angle, right? You believe that's a factor in the certain people just turning into coons? The fact that they can we call it a bitch like mindset? You know what I'm saying?
Not necessarily, because you got to keep in mind they have weapons that the other demographics in America that we don't have access to. We don't have access to firepower like that. We
Mm-hmm.
don't have access to the atom bomb like that. We don't have access to the police. We don't have access to the military.
Right.
So we have to be very honest about, and this is why I have a problem when guys like I like Mark Carter on some things, but we have to be honest about the position that we're in society in America, and then be able to have an honest conversation and build up real solutions to address our problems. Not saying I'm going to smack you in your head and tell you that there's no white supremacy, and then you go out there and fight things. Then you're going to run right into a brick wall, and then now that child is going to be like, "Well, you didn't tell me about this brick wall," and then that's going to also stunt their growth too as well because they wasn't properly informed.
You know, I hear Mark say that they fight the white supremacists. They fight white folk. White folk can't come into Chicago. We fight racists. You know what I'm saying? We got to stop to whatever is going on, whether whether people, American Negroes are criminals or not. We can't keep getting turned over to a system of white supremacy. We can't allow them to continue to punish us. You know what I'm saying? Because everything seems to turn into a punishment. Is no sense of reform. You know what I'm saying? And although crime is not as high as white folk make these statistics out to be, you know what I'm saying? We can't ignore that it is an issue. Obviously,
Or they really are criminals.
that yeah,
Like,
that's key number one right there. Because at the same time, you know, one of the things that kind of got me correlate these things, that mayor out there in DC, his name is Brandon Scott. One of the things that he said was, you know, people was getting on him about talking about defunding the police. And he said that he's going to keep the police funded. But there's other areas that need to be funded because every case is not a criminal case. And he's starting to find a little bit more success because instead of people necessarily calling the police, he got, you know, different areas to where they could call. A lot of issues is a mental health issue. You know what I'm saying? I've seen kids go to jail. You know what I'm saying? For spazzing out when it could have been, I'm talking about teenagers, go to juvenile for, or just getting detained or getting on some type of books simply because they spazzed out. And certain things could just be a mental issue. But when it comes
well,
down to black
guys,
people, they quit the.
can we slow that part down right there? Because we got to keep in mind, due to the fact that they do not have a proper mental health facility, they use the criminal justice system as a nut house for mental health and care.
Yes, they do. They let people fester in that shit, right?
Yeah, and that's some of the things I did want to like, just from an academic standpoint when it comes to that. Highlight and sorry to like slow that down, but I do want to get highlight that because that's the same thing where they punish people who are homeless. Like you got Trump and some of these guys are talking about locking up the homeless. They don't care if that was a veteran that served this country.
Well,
Now, these are things that are
you got lots of homeless people that actually want to get locked up.
well, they want to be locked up due to the fact that they're not getting the access that they need to have proper housing.
Right.
All right,
So
they're not getting
that should let Trump and the rest of the country know that that's another problem that they need to fix unless they do want these people locked up, right?
They do want them locked up because you got to keep in mind if we're not doing crime in large rates, then what are ways that they still can maintain the prison industrial complex? Locking up mentally disturbed individuals or mental people that have issues, right? That's one of them. Locking up and harassing the homeless. That's another thing. Like these are the things that they will weaponize to fill up those prisons. Then now they'll almost like I would say shock you guys or mentally shock an individual, right? What I mean is that they'll discriminate you. Like I'll give an example. My stepdad, right? He got hurt and injured on the job because white people were trying to kill him, like literally try to kill him. That could traumatize black folks. That type of situation could traumatize them, and now to the point that they're out of a job. Now they're homeless as a result of that, and they're not getting any form of justice.
So, Negro, I was telling you earlier that this kind of where I was leading to. I did kind of jump out of place because this was sporadic. I was not planning on doing this right now, but at the same time, like I said, it is very important to have get your mental checked out as soon as possible. If parents can do that, you know what I'm saying? Because you could never know 100% what your child is going through throughout the day to day. As children got a certain type of way. There's many different types of children out here, and a lot of people don't connect with their parents or can't. But it's always good because at the same time it can avoid a lot of issues, including getting into the criminal system as to where if you're the 13 or above, 10 and above, the police don't give a fuck. They won't hesitate to lock you up and label you a criminal for life, right? I'm looking at this lady, Bianca Ellis, and this is a lady that me and PeckerTom Ron got into it about a year ago. This is one of the cases, you get the lady, she apparently stabbed the 3-year-old little white boy and stabbed her mom, and the little white boy died. But this lady just got out of jail a couple of days before. Her family said that she has a history of mental illness. Matter of fact, they took about a year after they charged her to see was she mentally able to go through the trial, and they finally deemed her to be mentally ill, mentally well enough to go through the trial. And she just had the trial, and they found her guilty immediately, and they just sentenced her to a life sentence immediately. But just a few days before this lady was in jail for something else, and she was begging to stay there. She was homeless, and she was off her medicine. Her family say she was off her medicine for a long time before this, and she was homeless. She didn't have nowhere to go. She didn't rely on family. She didn't try to rely on family. She was out there on the streets. They didn't say about her being on no other types of drugs or nothing, and she was literally begging to stay in jail. And pretty much the only reason why she did this was so that she could go to prison and get this life sentence instead of her getting the help that she required, mental help that she required over a lifetime. Not saying, I still believe that the mother has something to do with it. You know what I'm saying? And it just probably went overboard. Huh?
Can I chime in on that part?
Yeah,
Well,
yeah.
it's because back in the day they used to have what they consider psych wards. So
They put my grandma's sister in the psych ward for her entire life.
yeah, they had psych wards back in the
Malcolm
day.
X's mama was in the psych ward for 40 years before she died. She died in the
Yeah.
90s or the late 80s.
Yeah, so like there were psychological institutions that they used to keep the mentally disturbed in society, right? As a result, they shut them down because a lot of people were abusing their power and authority, etc., right? And that was normally during I'm gonna say the 1990s or so. The one that I had was Norwich Mental Health Facility, right? And I used to run cross country back in the day, and that was one of the
Real quick, the psych wards, is that temporarily or is that permanent type stuff?
No, it's temporary and permanent residency, depending on the how.
And they don't have them no more at all?
No, they closed the majority of them down, from what I know. They
In
closed
your
the ones
town
down.
or what?
In the state of Connecticut, they closed them all down.
What's the crime rate out in Connecticut?
It's nothing crazy. Unless you go to the city like Hartford, New Haven, Bridgeport, Sanford. But some of those things are manufactured, though, too.
Yeah, they still got psych wards. They got psych wards all around.
They closed the ones down in Connecticut.
No, see, that's what I wanted to not see. I didn't know that. Look into that. I want to look into that because I do want to try to correlate that with crime. You know what I'm saying? That's the main thing. That's the main portion of this topic right here.
There's a major contributor to crime.
Because when Charlie Manson and shit killed motherfuckers, you know, they say he got a mental issue. He just killed too many people. You know what I'm saying? But white folks still advocate for him to get out, you know, to the latter years of his life was advocate to, it's pretty much saying he been in prison for too long, right? They want the Menendez brothers out. They've been in prison for too long. You know what I'm saying? A lot of people felt like they shouldn't have been in prison in the first place because they had stemmed anger from their parents doing whatever their parents did to them throughout a lifetime, right? You know, white folk tend to be sympathetic towards them and want them out of prison. And felt like they should have had, you know, but they was already going to go see therapists and shit, so it really wasn't no excuse, right?
Some of those people are really dangerous. They're not just a threat to white people, they're a threat to the public in general.
Man, if that situation happened with that little, what's that, Ukrainian girl that allegedly got stabbed and stuff, you know, let's say that was a real situation. Who's to say that this brother didn't have a mental health issue? You know, white folks sit up here and say that he got out of jail like 20 times or something. It was a number that they say they kept letting them get out of jail.
So the thing is, like, there are some black folks who are homeless, right?
Mm-hmm.
They'll do petty crimes in order to get the housing and stuff that they need from the prison.
That's what I was saying about Bianca Ellis. That's what I put up.
It reminds me of that Jadakiss line. I know brothers that go to jail to get their teeth fixed.
Yeah.
Just kind of give you some context, not to make it.
I got you, you know, but like I said, all of that stuff need to be avoided from the start. But at the same time, you know, if it can't be avoided from the start, you know, we got to start pushing, you know, through our state laws and federal laws that they got to stop locking Negroes up, especially when things could be. The prison is not the ultimate way of reforming people. You know what I'm saying? I asked Judge Joe Brown that. I said, is prison the ultimate way of reforming people? You said no. But, you know, he hit me with the... I said, what do you do when these brothers and sisters come into your courtroom, even if it's whether it's the first time or it's you know, multiple times? What do you do to reform these Negroes? And you give me no answer. You know what I'm saying? You generally lock these people up, but you tell me that they come back at you and write you letters and tell you that they manned the hell up. What if everybody don't have that mental capability by nature? How are you really reforming these people? Jail can fuck up people's mental capacity too.
They're not. Their goal is to make sure that they're repeating or they call it recidivism rate. That's the, like, I don't want to use that $10 word. Shout out to college. A recidivism rate meaning that these are people that are continually going to jail. And they have not broken what they consider the cycle, right? And this is where you got that story of that white woman that was going in and out of jail multiple times, right? For petty charges. This is the other reason why they even came up with the 3-strike rule out in California.
This is the conclusion of the second part of this week's edition of Rasslin with Racism. We will return with the third installment of this week's edition of Rasslin with Racism on Sunday. If you have not tuned into the first edition of What Makes a Coon, is cooning a form of mental illness, and can they be restored? Featuring PeckerTom Ron. It is available on YouTube right now. We are adding a 4th edition, as it is our 2nd season finale of Rasslin with Racism, and we want to encourage each and every single American Negro to tune in. From the gentlemen here at Rasslin with Racism, we encourage PeckerTom Ron to get a life. Get out your mama's house and stop relying on the United States government. In the meantime, American Negroes, take care of yourself as an individual and protect one another as family. As our dearly beloved ancestor, Frankie Beverly, stated plainly, We are one. And that's the way it is. We here at Rasslin with Racism hope that each and every single American Negro enjoyed this edition of Rasslin with Racism, as we can assure you that wrestling with racism is not the easiest thing in the world to do. We here at Rasslin with Racism aim to exploit white truths. However, white truths isn't the easiest thing to live through. As we continue to wrestle with racism, we are in the second half of our second season. And Rasslin with Racism is hiring for key positions. We are actively seeking an editor. If you are an editor and you are an American Negro, please feel free to DM me your resume. You must be in tune with professional wrestling and social issues regarding race, specifically with American Negroes. You may DM me at non-crackers@al with the L on the end on Twitter X, which is also the place where you can find more white truths. Rasslin with Racism is also actively seeking an associate producer. Please DM me your resume if you are interested in the position. You may also DM me at non-crackers@al on Twitter X, which is also where you can find more white truths. To American Negroes, we encourage you all to voice your opinion on the state of professional wrestling and American Negroes' participation in professional wrestling on camera and behind the scenes, also in executive roles. If you would like to join HBK 400, Deportation 2025, the owner of a stolen gun, and our trusted, valued correspondents, Foundational Bearded American and Duke CT from the Duke CT Lounge, feel free to DM me at non-crackers@al on Twitter X, which is also the place where you can find more white truths. It is important for our voices to become collective as we are truly facing erasure. American Negroes, take care of yourself as an individual and protect one another as family. As our ancestor, Frankie Beverly, stated plainly, we are one. And that's the way it is. We here at Rasslin with Racism would like to thank each and every single American Negro for checking out this program. Please feel free to leave your comments below. And if you are not subscribed, check out the other content. And if it hits you to the core, subscribe and share to every single American Negro that you know, whether they are wrestling fans or not. In the meantime, be sure to take care of yourself as an individual and take care of one another as family, as our ancestor, Frankie Beverly, stated plainly. We hope that you enjoyed Rasslin with Racism, and we encourage you all to leave a comment below letting us know what you felt about this particular program and the program overall. And if you are an American Negro and you are not subscribed to Rasslin with Racism, check out the other content. And if it hits you to the core, subscribe, and share with every single American Negro that you know, whether they are a wrestling fan or not. You may also check us out and subscribe, follow on YouTube, TikTok, Facebook, Instagram, Fanbase, and at Non-Crackers at Al on Twitter X for more white truths. Thank you for tuning in and have a great week.